What's up, everybody? Muse rant time. Fair warning, there are going to be a lot of people that don't like this, and I'm fine with that. Um, Normally, my rants are funny and lighthearted about how parents are fucking up the school system, but this is outside of that. Um, I posted my test results on my Facebook page, and I'm getting rid of my Facebook page because, truth be told, it really hasn't brought me anything in the realm of positivity here in recent months. Um, but I posted my test results at the direction of my therapist. I actually spent a lot of time debating on whether or not to do it, and I finally was like, I talked to her, and she said, "Well, that's how you got news from your ex, so you might as well return the favor." Okay, it got me closure. Cool. What I said on there was that I got my results and popped clean. Okay. Earlier this morning, I got a text message from somebody that decided to wander onto my page and take umbrage with my particular use of that phrase. Which, while they have every right to have an issue with it, I have every right to do this. One of the big things that gripes me about the LGBT community as a whole, and that's all the way through, poly, or not polyamorous, pansexual, lesbian, bisexual, gay, trans, ally, etc., is the fact that on this side of the line, people have gotten into a really bad habit in certain sects, not all of them, of policing the way people speak. I have a real big problem with this, and I think I I hate to use the word entitled, but it's true. Um, I'm the second most top murder statistic now because I'm trans and female. The only way I could get higher on that particular hit list is if I was not white. Um, and I don't police the way people speak around me. And here's why. There is a quote that says, "The unexamined life is not worth living." And as much as I hate Plato and Aristotle because they're pretentious jackasses, it doesn't change the fact that that's true. Discourse is how people learn and how people change. Stopping discourse, and when I say discourse, I mean conversation. Okay? When you stop that in any form, whatever it is, however well meaning you may be, you generate fear. And fear breeds resentment and breeds anger. And also breeds hatred. So what you're really doing is you're fueling the other side of the line. The person that took umbrage with what I said decided to end a very long-standing friendship, potentially, because I refused to apologize for the fact of what I said. Because, to be perfectly honest, I didn't say anything wrong. And that's not me standing on, like, pretense or, principle or anything like that. I deal with chemicals because I'm in a prop shop. I deal with plastics. I deal with all kinds of shit. And I'm, working ceramics in high school. I deal with chemicals. And I was always taught that anytime something didn't react, it was clean. It was clear. It was non-reactive. Okay? So when I said I popped clean, my intent was to say all of my results are non-reactive. They took it to mean that anybody that had an STD, STI was dirty. That's not how that works. The world has become very binary in its thought process, and what people are trying to do is they're trying to police the way you speak because mentally it becomes uncomfortable for them. And really what it does is cause something that is referred to as cognitive dissonance. That's why you have, like, Trump supporters that can look at all the shit that Trump has done that is insanely illegal and go, well, yeah, but. Because the realization and the thought process it takes is so mentally painful for them that they will rationalize it in any way they can so that's okay. You see the same thing with smokers, people who use heavy drugs, people that are exceedingly promiscuous, or people that take, like, unnecessary risks. They'll justify it because to look at the situation and go, I made a bad decision, is too mentally painful for them to come to grips with. Everybody has it. It's not a like a unique thing. I don't police the way people speak around me because I feel like they should have the freedom and the comfort to speak as they truly mean. Words don't hurt people. Intent hurts people. Okay? For instance, I had a friend of mine whose parent was down from North Carolina, where I grew up, found out I was trans. Didn't have a problem in the world with it. Stopped me in Ocean when we were leaving work in the truck and was like, "Hey, I gotta ask y'all a question." I'm like, "All right, fine, what's up?" And he said, I don't want to offend, but which one of y'all is the man in the relationship?" Now, normally, if he'd asked anybody else, they probably would have lost their shit. I laughed because it's funny as shit. Because I refer to Osha as my husband all the fucking time. Because between the two of us, I'm the bigger chick. Okay? I'm the one that's like heels and jewelry and shit like that. It's me. She's the flannel, work boots, and all this other stuff. On the converse, I'm also a lot more willing to get really, really gross than she is. Which is kind of weird in this dichotomy. But a lot of people on the social justice warrior side would look at that and be like, "Well, he shouldn't have said that, and he has no right to ask that," and all this other stuff. It's kind of like the people who look at me and go, "Oh, hey, can I ask you about your transition and stuff?" And they get really nervous. They're like, I don't know if I can ask about this. Seeking information for information's sake is not a sin. Okay? The only way you learn, the only way you grow, is by asking questions. And the only way that you grow is by becoming uncomfortable. And when you police the way people speak, what you are communicating to them is that you being uncomfortable is unacceptable and they need to change the way they interact with you. Now, while I completely support boundaries, that's how I interact with you, not how I interact with the world. They took umbrage with what I said. My response to that was, I did something for my mental health. If you have a problem with it, then I suggest you hide my account. Unfollow me. Don't look. You have a right to not like it. You don't have a right to stop me from saying it. Now, freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequence. This person decided that they might end an 11-year relationship or friendship with me over that particular post, to which, if that's their choice, I completely support that. Because I'm not going to force myself down somebody's throat. But I'm also not going to police the way I speak to make somebody else comfortable. And I understand that right now I sound like one of those, Republican, I'm not going to be PC. That's not it at all. Okay? Nobody blames a car in a car wreck. It's the driver. Or it's the people in the car. Or it's, what happened to cause it. The car being wrecked is really just the aftermath. Words don't hurt people. Intent does. Just like the guy that asked who the guy was in my and Osha's relationship. Didn't mean anything by it. He was genuinely curious because that's how he understands relationships. And I would take 1,000 of him over some social justice warrior that's like, well, you don't shave all the time, and you don't wear makeup all the time, and you haven't gotten facial feminization surgery, and you haven't gotten full gender reassignment surgery, so you're not really trans, you're gender fluid, or you're gender queer, or you're non-binary, etc. I would take 1,000 of, hey, who's the guy in your relationship, over one gatekeeper. And that's what that is that's gatekeeping. And the funny thing about it is the person that had this issue with it, that I'm sure will have an issue with this video, is going to come back and say, well, I'm not really gatekeeping. Yeah, you are. When you look at somebody and go, you can't do X, Y, and Z because it causes me duress, that's exactly what you're doing. Because I didn't name them by name. I didn't call them out. I'm not calling them out on here. And nobody needs to know who it is other than me and that person. The world has got to change. And the only way that happens is through intelligent discourse. There was a quote by Confucius that says, a bowl is most useful when it's empty. And if you understand that quote, congratulations, because you're on the path to enlightenment. A lot of people won't. But the problem is when you draw lines in the sand and go, you can't do X, Y, and Z, what you've done is made that bowl smaller. Or broken it entirely. Because it's only useful when it's empty. When it's full, you can't really use more of it. It's kind of the point. Intelligent discourse fills that bowl. Policing the way people speak fuels your opposition because it gives people that are like, oh, I don't want to bake, gay people wedding cakes. It's the exact same thing. That's infringing on my freedom of speech. Basically, what they've said is, I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to do it. It's the same thing. Gatekeeping and the people that are like, oh, well, I don't like, that we have queers that are running for president and all that other shit. That's all it is. It's just on the right side of the line as opposed to the liberal side of the line. And I know that people are like, oh, well, it's the libtard thing. It's not that. It's that people have a right to express their ideas. And when people are free to express their ideas, what everybody else has to understand is that freedom doesn't come with security. Benjamin Franklin said that anyone who gives up any measure of freedom for any measure of security deserves neither. And that's true. My dogs are 100% safe. Okay? If you look up there, that's Raven's crate. That's Gage's crate. Gage is covered up right now because Gage doesn't like fireworks over here. It makes him uncomfortable. So we canary him so that he can sit in his den and chill out and, whatever. They're 100% safe. But they're not 100% free. They do what I tell them to. They eat when I tell them they can eat. They, stay in their crates when I tell them to stay in their crates. And they go where I tell them to go. But they're safe. And they're protected. On the converse, I'm free. I get to go out as I see fit. I can wear a corset and jeans, corset and heels and skirts and all this other shit out in public. But I have to understand that doesn't mean that I'm always going to be secure. Some jackass could have a problem with the fact that I'm using the women's restroom and going to touch his daughter or some shit like that and come after me. That's a choice. Freedom doesn't come with safety. It doesn't happen. And policing the way that people speak isn't going to serve your purposes. It's not going to help the LGBT community. It's not going to help the kink community. It's not going to help any other community. When you stop the way people talk, you have now stopped their ability to grow and their ability to change. Now, if I looked at somebody that had an STD, STI and went, oh, well, you're dirty, I don't want to touch you. Okay. I'm being a dick. That's not how I view it. I've had plenty of friends that have had STD, STIs, and the only thing that I've looked at them and gone is, okay, there's just certain shit we're not going to do. I mean, that's just the way it is. I had a friend of mine that was really into, blood play and stuff that was HSV positive, and I was like, well, I appreciate that. I'm not doing that without gloves. I'm not doing that without protection. I'm not doing X, Y, and Z without guarding myself. And they were fine with it. They were like, okay, that's fine. It's kind of like anytime somebody stops a conversation with me, the quickest way to piss me off is to stop a conversation with me that has nothing to do with my pronouns to find out what my pronouns are. It's like we were having a conversation about the space station. Why did you stop this conversation? Oh, well, I didn't want to offend you. It's offensive to me that you stopped the conversation to ask what my pronouns were. So that's my rant. The left side of the line is going to have to start edging more towards, which one of y'all is the man in the relationship so that we can have discourse with people that aren't necessarily up to par with the parlance. Because sitting there going, oh, well, I'm way smarter than you and you just need to catch up, doesn't fucking work. Okay? That's my rant for right now. I know it's kind of long-winded. I may rewrite it. I don't know. But that's where I am. Love you guys. Also, I'm trying to teach at Beyond Leather this year. It's in May. I applied for it. I got to wait to see if I got accepted. I hope I did. If I didn't, I still may go, but that's a money situation thing. So, wish me luck. Also, if you want to read some of the other stupid stuff I've done, daughterofchaos.wordpress.com. Chaos with a K, not a CH. Fair warning that, much like my rants, are very not safe for work. Love you guys.